There are some best learning practices which really aid in an INTP's ability to understand and to gain knowledge. Now, the INTP personality makes up 3% of our population. The interesting thing, though, is that there are about 5% which are male and only 2% which are female. Now, the other part is that when you look at an INTP, remember that they're very interested in looking at and developing logical explanations for everything. They really love anything that's going to be theoretical and abstract. And they're really more interested in ideas than social interactions, and that goes along between the thinking and the feeling part. They're quiet, they're contained, and that goes along with the introverted side of their personality. And then they're flexible and adaptable, which goes along more with their perceiving side of their personality. They really have an unusual ability to focus very much in depth. They're going to dive into information in order to solve problems, especially when it falls within an area of their interest. Remember, though, that they are sometimes quite critical and they can be skeptical. Their key words as a learner is analytical and critical. So if you remember that they're both analytical, and they're also going to really debate whether or not information is true. And this is part of their personality, and it actually is a very good part because it helps them to really understand and to be able to solve problems. Their question that they like to be answered is, how are these things structured? How is information structured? And this goes along with that theoretical side that they are interested in. Some wonderful strategies to help a INTP is to remember that they love to assess and to identify. They are going to love anything that's going to allow them to really make connections or to categorize things. And they're going to be very, very exasperated with any kind of wasted times. So as an instructor, we really need to make sure that there's no lag between one activity to the next activity. They tend to be very creative. This goes along with that perceiving intuition part of their personality, and they love details, especially when it's related to theory. They are going to be great in discussion because they like to see the different perspectives, and experiential learning, so they can actually try the theories to see if they work, because remember, they like that part of how things are structured. And they love general concepts. Now, this kind of learner, an INTP, is also very imaginative, and they like to be able to have the independent work, so that way they can ponder and think and make their own connections between information and scaffold their information. They do like to know objectives and where they're going. That goes along with their thinking part. And they prefer to observe, which is more part of their introverted personality type. They want to see what's going on, and they want somebody to give them example before they actually are going to try something. Their pace of instruction is moderate. They like things to move along at a steady pace, and they don't really like to have any kind of lag, as we talked about, between one concept to the next or one activity to the next. They're also great problem solvers, and this happens because they love to have reflection time. They're going to sit, they're going to ponder, they're going to think, and they're really going to take that information that they've received and create these massive scaffolds and relationships and patterns between one thing to another, almost like brainstorming or webbing. They're very good at this. They're also very good at self-instruction, and they prefer to have a classroom that is less structured, that goes along with their perceiving personality. And so they are going to prefer to have a less routine and more ability to move from one technique or one activity to another.